Welcome back to the Teeth Time Podcast. This is episode 5. My name is Steven. I am a first-year dental student, and it is just me today here on the podcast. I've had a couple of guests in the last few episodes 3 and 4. Had a few good friends of mine on the podcast. Episode 3 was a little discussion with Joel Meyerson, who's actually my boss, if you didn't know. Go check that interview out. And then episode 4 was a discussion with another first-year dental student, Jack Hahn. And so both very unique conversations with two people who are in dentistry and who have very different perspectives about where they're at and where they're going. So just me today. I wanted to get on here and do a little bit of an update for where I'm at, how school is going, what's going on. So I feel kind of bad. I planned this week to release a video, or at least to film a video that you all would have really enjoyed, and it was a vlog. And I say that you would have enjoyed it because those videos do really, really well on my channel. The vlogs are really successful every time I post them, and the reason for that, I think, is pretty apparent. The majority of the people who watch my channel are interested in understanding what it's like to be a dental student. And I think it makes sense to seek out videos like that because those are the best videos to show you what it's actually like. There was a good bit of that content when I was a pre-dental student, but there wasn't a ton of it. And I think creators like Jack, for example, are doing a really good job showing their day-to-day life as a student and giving pre-dentals a good idea of what it's like, or what is in store for them a few years down the road. So I planned to film another vlog this week, and unfortunately, it didn't go as planned, and that happens at times in dental school. But I'll go ahead and explain my thought process. So there's really two major aspects of dental school. There is your didactic portion of school, which pretty much everybody is familiar with, and then there's your lab portion. So the didactic portion is only so interesting, right? I mean, everybody who's watching these videos is taking similar courses. You know what it's like to take a physiology course. You know what it's like to take an anatomy course. So when you see somebody like me who's studying for those things, it may be, interesting, but it may not be the most interesting thing in the world. And that's why I think that the second portion of dental school comes in as really impactful, and that's the lab portion. That is the portion that nobody really fully understands until they get there. I mean, I remember being a pre-dental student and not having absolutely no idea what dental school labs entailed. I was like, I don't know what they do, because I didn't know a ton about dentistry. So that's the stuff that I think people really respond to and really enjoy seeing. And in our labs right now, we just had a major milestone. So I'm in operative dentistry 2, and we just finished our amalgam module for operative dentistry 2. So a couple little things, because this portion is going to be kind of jargon heavy, so I'll explain you through it. So operative dentistry is the practice in dentistry of restoring teeth that have become cavitated. Teeth with carious lesions require operative intervention. And so we go in with a handpiece, we remove the carious enamel and dentin in a variety of different preps based on where that decay is. And then we fill those areas that we've removed with a couple of different restorative materials. The first one that everybody learns is amalgam. And amalgam is actually, in my opinion, the best restorative material. I think there's plenty of evidence to show that. Working with it is the easiest. It's very, very easy to work with. And really the only drawback for amalgam for people is the aesthetics. So if you're a pre-dental student, I mean, everybody's been to the dentist, hopefully. You're probably at least familiar with silver versus white fillings. So the amalgams are the silver fillings. And I think the issue, like I said, is the aesthetics, if I could speak. People these days don't really want to open their mouths and have a big shiny silver thing, glaring out at the world on the occlusal surface of a posterior tooth, but it's a really, really good restorative material. So we had an entire section at the beginning of this semester dedicated to amalgam. and learning it. We had done it all last semester. We had done preparations for amalgam, but this was the semester we actually learned how to place amalgams, how to carve them, how to form marginal ridges on class 2s and things of that nature. And last week we finished that entire module, which meant that this week we would move on to the next module of operative, which is composite. So composite is your white fillings, your tooth colored fillings. And I was interested in this because speaking with a lot of dentists, I've found that the general consensus is posterior composites can be very difficult to do. When you're in isolation in a mannequin, like in a lab setting where we are, I think posterior composites are actually pretty easy. But when you're in real life and you have real patients who are salivating and who are bleeding, it gets a lot more difficult because composite requires essentially a perfect environment in order to bond to the native tooth structure. With amalgam, we use essentially mechanical retention. Composite uses chemical retention. So we got to start composite this week. So I was like, cool, this is going to be a really fun thing to show my viewers on YouTube. I'm going to go in and I'm going to bring my camera into lab, and it'll be the first composite lab. I had a title for the video picked out. I had all these things, all these shots I was going to do and all the stuff I was going to talk about. We get into lab and, our teacher starts going through the little lecture on composites and how it works and what we're going to be doing. And she assigns us with the first assignment, and it's filling 18, just a big occlusal preparation essentially. Fill 18 with composite. I was like, okay, easy enough. Then she assigns a prep, and I was like, okay, it's a class 2. I was like, all right, fair enough. Then she assigns another class 2, and I'm like, all right, it's kind of a lot. And then she assigns another prep, class 5. So I'm like, okay, we have 4 projects to do today, and our lab period is 3 hours. And one of those projects I've never touched before, and the other ones are all preps, which could take me who knows how long. So I start working through the lab. Unfortunately, the composite actually went really pretty well. My composite was extremely average. I don't have a picture of it, unfortunately, but it was extremely average. I saw some people in my class who did way better work than I did on this project, which is not remotely surprising. But that went pretty well. And then we get to the preparations, and I had 3 preps to cut. Ended up only getting 2 of them done in the lab period. So as you can imagine, not a single press of play happened during that lab period with the camera. I didn't film a single thing because I was absolutely scrambling trying to film, trying to get through this content, trying to film the content, trying to do the actual work in lab. And I think, unfortunately, when it comes to being a content creator and also a dental student, you have a very obvious first priority, which is school. And even though in your head there are times when you have a perfect video figured out and you have all this stuff, all these plans and things you're going to do, sometimes you just don't have enough time to do all of that. And so that was the case this week. I feel bad about it. It is what it is. It's going to happen quite a bit. And that's, I think, just a good explanation for why I've explained to commenters in the past that ask about the lab content. I think it's a good explanation for why maybe I haven't had as much of that as people would hope. The first and most major thing is the time. Getting into those lab periods, you really have to be on it in order to complete all the projects that they ask you to complete in those lab periods. And the other thing is, my teachers, a lot of my teachers are from a different era. And when they were going through school, YouTube didn't exist, the internet didn't exist, and content creation and putting yourself out there like that was not a thing at all. And so a lot of, and maybe this is in my head, but I think a lot of the teachers kind of see the video creation as a little bit out there and not necessarily something that a traditional dental student would do. So there's a couple aspects of it that play in there for me, but so I apologize for that, for the lack of video on that, the lack of the vlog. There will be plenty more opportunities to show you what I'm doing with composite and all of that. It's just how it goes, I think, in dental school. There's going to be a lot of chances for me to show things, and then there's going to be times when I just can't. And, one of the big things for me is documenting the things that happened to me throughout school so that years from now I can look back on my experiences. So I know myself very well. And I know that in 5, 6, 7, 10 years, I'll be listening to this very podcast. So hello, future me. It's good to see you. Hope everything's going well. But I will be listening because I will be interested to kind of go back to this time period and to just relive the memories of going through dental school, good and bad. So that was my failure this week, but doing well in labs, making it through. And so I think that's what ultimately matters. I'm not the greatest with my hands necessarily in the class. I think there are people who are just absolute wizards, but at the same time, I do think I pick it up pretty well, and I've really been enjoying my progress in lab. So I have plenty of advice for all of the incoming D1s when it comes to lab, because there's a lot of things that I've learned about, especially about operative and just the things that we do, that I think I could help people with. But that's what happened this week. You win some, you lose some, right? And everything else is pretty much the same as it always is. The funny thing about being in dental school during a freaking quarantine like what we have now is that every single day is essentially the exact same. Today I'm studying for a major exam that we have next Monday, so a week and some change from now. And it's just constant work, trying to get through all these lectures, just mountains of lectures, trying to get as detailed as I can into each lecture so that I can succeed or get as close to succeeding as possible. And so I did that. It was a beautiful day outside, so I got to go run, did a 4-mile run. My foot kind of hurts. Hopefully that's not anything too crazy. I love running. It's just one of my favorite things to do, and it hasn't always been that way. So if you're interested in running and you're interested in how you can get started, please let me know, because I really have a lot to say on that topic, and I think there will be a lot more on my channel coming with that. One thing I've been toying with is that if you know me and sort of what I'm doing right now, I have dental school, and then I also have boot camp. I work for bootcamp.com, and we're developing a course in dental anatomy and occlusion. And so I work every week for that, work today as well on that. I've created a couple of videos working through the premolars right now. But once I finish up with this entire project for boot camp, which should be sometime this summer, should have the course completed. Hope in June, could be July, somewhere in there. Once I have all of this stuff done, that's takes up some time, I'd like to start training for either half or full, possibly marathon. That's really something that I never thought I would do in my life, but with the amount of running I've been doing in this last year, I really think that it's absolutely within the realm of possibility for me, and it's something that I would love to kind of challenge myself with. Because for so many years in my life, I had something to work for, physically or athletically, and I haven't had that in a long time now, being going through college and stuff, and kind of putting sports behind me. So I think having that challenge would be amazing, and it would give me something to do outside of school. So please stay tuned when it comes to that. There could be a whole vlog series on this channel, Nick Bear-esque vlog series about training for a half marathon or something. I'm not an animal, so I don't think I'm going to be, maybe, I don't know. We'll see. I think I could do a half marathon pretty easily, to be honest with you. The longest run that I've done is 10 miles, and a half marathon's 13. And I felt at the end of the 10 that I absolutely could have kept going. So that was, I think that was last summer. So I'm not in as good a shape as I was then, but I definitely think I could do that. So I think the question is half or full, but we will get to that. I just like sharing these things because I think it's really cool for people who are aspiring to be like me, and not like me in the sense of everything I do, but like me in the position that I'm in, be a dental student. I think it's cool for those people to kind of hear what life is like for dental students, the unabridged version. And that's what I think this podcast is about. I can just get on here and talk, which I do pretty well. I just can speak for days. So that's kind of what's been going on, and it's almost May, which means we're rapidly approaching the end of our first year of school, which is absolutely mental. I can't believe it. I mean, time just flies. And I think that's one of the things I've really learned in life. You got to make the most of it, of every day. And even though you may not be in the position that you want to be in right now, try to make the most of it, because you will blink your eyes and you'll be 5-10 years down the road. So that is the story. Didn't want to go on too long today. I just wanted to kind of update you and let you know what kind of transpired this week. A little bit of a look ahead. I have a really special guest lined up for the podcast. That's going to be fun. So the next episode of this podcast will have a special guest on it. I'm really liking the interview style. It's not even interview style. What I like to do with my discussions with these folks is to just kind of have as laid back a conversation as possible. I've really enjoyed listening to podcasts where those who are, considered the quote interviewer, they're asking questions, but they're basically just having a discussion. I think that's the best. At least that's what the style of podcast that I've responded most to. So that's what I've been trying to accomplish with my guests. And the next episode, we'll have a really special guest, another dental student, another YouTuber. You can go ahead and start your guesses. And then, I'm in discussions with a lot of people for this podcast, and I'm really excited to see kind of where it can go. I'm now paying for the podcast service that allows me to be up on Spotify and Apple, which is cool. That was a really fun process. Actually going onto my phone and seeing my face on Spotify was a very, very interesting phenomenon, something I didn't think I would ever see. And so I'm excited about the future of this podcast. And the question that I have is, I know that, there's maybe only 200 of you that'll listen to this, at least in the beginning. So it's not intensely popular. And I have been uploading the video aspect of the podcast onto my channel. I don't know if that's something that people want me to continue to do. But if at any point, people don't like it and people don't respond to the podcasts on the channel anymore, I'll just create a YouTube channel specific for Teeth Time. And then we'll have, I'll be able to funnel people over to that channel if you want to see the visual pod. But for now, it's going to keep going up on my channel. I just think that it's something that I'm creating and it's something I'm passionate about. So for now, it'll stay up on my channel. And if you want to click on it, you can click on it. But if you're listening, please let me know how everything's going. I really do appreciate the community of people that has been developing in on my channel. I think it's absolutely incredible. I've been a part of so many YouTube communities just as a viewer over the years, and it is absolutely nuts just seeing people actually respond to the work that I'm doing. And I'm really, really excited about the future, man. I'm pumped. I think there's going to be so many opportunities for me to create content and to just highlight things in my life, and I'm really excited about it. So if you haven't joined the subscribers, go ahead and join. Hit the subscribe button, the notification bell, all those things that people ask you to do on YouTube, and we'll keep going. It's insane how quickly time is moving, but I have got a lot of plans, a lot of things that I want to do. Oh, another thing. Oh my gosh, I'm rambling. Another thing that will be coming out soon, just to tease something as well. I've got a new pair of scrubs coming in, and I'm pumped about them. I'll probably talk about them on the podcast, but I'm going to make a full video about these new scrubs. And I'm so excited because my scrubs, I kind of really dislike them a lot because they're just not, the fabric is not there, the fit's not there. But these new ones, they definitely will satisfy those requirements. So be on the lookout for a scrub video. One of the most popular videos I ever did was me just talking about my loops, my oroscopic loops. And so this video hopefully will do well as well. talking about another product that dental students will buy, scrubs. So I'm excited about that one. Be on the lookout for that, and then be on the lookout for everything else. I'll try to make up the lack of a composite vlog for you very soon, and I'll just continue to make the content that hopefully people want to see. Hopefully it's helpful or entertaining, one of the two or both. I appreciate you all, and I'm just so excited to continue on into the future. So let me know what you think in the comments, and we'll get the discussion going there. This has been Teeth Time. My name is Steven once again, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you for listening to the Teeth Time podcast. I hope this conversation was at least somewhat enjoyable for you. Remember to check out my YouTube channel, that's Stephen P. Ray on YouTube, where you'll find plenty of visual content about the life of a dental student and creator. Also check out my Instagram at steven.p.ray.dentistry. Long name, I know. I appreciate each and every one of you. This has been Teeth Time, and I'm out.